Alrighty, so we've got Dr. Thrax versus General Fai, the infantry general, but I can't build any offensive units. So very similar to my can't build any units videos, except this time I'm going to allow the workers. I actually did need to allow myself to build workers just for the extra speed here, because General Fai, in my opinion, I think he's probably more difficult than General Ling. In a sense, so I need to be able to have that extra speed so that I can build up my defenses to endure the attacks that are coming from General Fai. So right away, he's sending out a couple of minigunners. Now, these two minigunners, they'll take a few shots on the command center, but they'll actually retreat. So my goal here is to basically just hope that one of my toxin networks is ready so that I can pick off the minigunners. So that's the goal there. Now, I got one worker. He's going to go for the supply stash. I don't need to do a fake one, just a real one, because he's going to go in and collect the supplies anyway. That was the thought process. So I got a combination of both toxin networks and stinger sites. So I'm going to need the stinger sites so then I can hit those assault troop crawlers from a longer range and then try and get the vehicle destroyed, so then we can just deal with the minigunners with those toxin networks. So I got the first minigunner para drop, and it's only going to be like 5 minigunners. So I did lose the guys inside one of my stinger sites, so that does mean my defense is a little bit weaker for the next set of vehicles, which will be 2 dragon tanks. But I've still got 1 stinger site now. The thing with Dr. Thrax is his stinger sites and toxins are going to be more powerful compared to the other GLA generals too. So with our worker, I'm going to move to the left side of my base and build up another toxin network to cover the other bridge. So I just need 1 there for now. Now that bridge specifically is a spot where Black Lotus can actually go across that bridge and then try and capture my building. So I need to have some form of defense to deal with the Black Lotus that comes my way. Now with this point of the battle, I'm sort of just trying to figure out what I want to do, how I want to spend my cash. So I've got like 2 grand to my name, and I was thinking maybe I should save up for Palace, and then that way I could go for a quick Scud Storm, or I could go for a quick Black Market. Money is going to be tight here since I'm not allowed to build any rebels or vehicles from the arms dealer. It does mean that my options are limited here, so I have to wait until I get to rank 3 in order to get rebels, and then use the rebel ambush to then capture wheel derricks if I want to make that choice later on. So that's the difference between no offensive units and the can't build any unit series, is that I'm not building any units from the barracks or arms dealer, but in this case I'm going to allow workers from command center and supply stash, and rocket trips from tunnel networks, that's fine, and rebel ambushes are fine because I'm not directly building those from the production buildings that they correspond to. So at this point, it's kind of the calm before the storm here. I'm trying to get some more defense so then I can have myself covered against any attacks from this northern point. So getting more toxin networks. Now the thing with the toxin networks is they'll be great against the infantry, of course, but they won't be so great against the tank hunters because they're going to have a longer range compared to a toxin network. So that tank hunter that you just saw, he did get a couple of shots off on the stinger side before he got taken out. So that's the thing, he could take out my toxin networks if I don't have any other form of defense within range. Now I did get my palace up and I went straight for a Black Market. The thing is, I could try and save up for a Scud Storm, but every time I try and build a Scud Storm, he finds a way to actually destroy it. So I think the better move is to go for Black Market, try and build up my cash, but also try and get some upgrades if I can afford it too. Now with our palace, I did also put some rocket troops inside. That's increased the value of that particular area, and that means that Fai has done a minigunner para drop on me, and my defenses aren't going to be enough to hold, so I am going to lose my palace. So the thing with the minigunner para drop and the nuclear missile is, just like other generals, it's going to go on cash value. So it was kind of a mistake putting those rocket troops inside the palace. I should have tried to have like a toxin network nearby so then I was more covered. I still got the black market out of it, so I'll still be able to get the upgrades. But losing the palace at this stage of the game isn't good here, because it means that I'm not going to be as prepared for when the nuclear missile hits. See, I could have used the palace to help in baiting out the nuclear missiles, so like I could have done a few scaffolds to the left of the palace, and then the nuclear missile could fire in a way where it damages the palace but doesn't destroy the palace. So that was my goal going forward. So I think putting the rocket troopers inside the palace at that given moment when the paradrop came afterwards, I think that was the mistake. I think if I didn't do that, then the paradrop would have happened somewhere else, maybe to the right of the palace where I had more defenses, so I would have been able to deal with the threat a lot better. Now when it comes to the minigunner paradrop as well, so there's an audio cue to it, so if General Fai says, like a swarm of locusts, they descend from the sky to devour all those that stand against China, that's your audio cue that will tell you that he's going to do the minigunner paradrop. Now, Fai has done the nuclear missile on me, and it's hit my supply stash and my workers, so that's going to be a bit of a tough loss here, because I won't be able to gather resources for a while, except from my black market, and just one black market isn't going to be enough to really do it for me. I was able to take out the Black Lotus, so that, again, as I mentioned before, that was the reason why I put that one toxin network there. Now, I did rebuild my palace, putting it next to the black market, and I'm putting more toxin networks nearby so then I can deal with future minigunner paradrops. So that's why I put the palace a little bit, a little bit north of the edge of the map there. And I was able to endure that big attack from those 3 assault troop crawlers too. So now I'm at the stage where I can actually rebuild the workers, try and gather the resources that we got left, which isn't a lot, and then I can actually focus on, getting my defense and then my other forms of cash up. We're not quite rank 3 yet. Once we do get the rank 3 though, then we can go for that rebel ambush plus cash bounty too. Cash bounty will be super helpful. So at this point my defenses are going to be on the weak side here, so I'll be able to deal with some threats, so like solitary minigunners for example, like that one on the bridge as well that's going to get picked off. It's going to be the assault troop crawlers and the tank hunters that'll still be the biggest threat. So the assault troop crawler here has come, and I decided to get my rocket troopers to pick off the assault troop crawlers. That way I can use my toxin network to deal with the threat more easily. So I'll just use the toxin network to pick off each minigunner one by one. Now with my palace, the way that I placed it, I know that it's going to be the most expensive area now. So I was expecting the minigunner paradrop to occur in this section. And just like before, whenever Fai says like a swarm of locusts, that's your audio cue that will tell you that he's about to launch the minigunner paradrop against you. So I ended up dealing with that pretty easily, and I'm going to go for a Scud Storm. So I mentioned earlier that Fai does find ways to deal with your Scud Storm, but the thing I forgot to mention is that's if it's like a early rush style type of Scud Storm, when you don't really have the defenses established at that stage of the battle. So at this point, I've got defenses, I've got units. The one thing I'm really lacking is cash and a way to actually get it. So I just got to hope that my stingicides and my toxin networks are going to be enough to deal with the future attacks. Now, the other thing with the minigunner paradrop and the nuclear missile is usually they'll factor out super weapons and command centers. So I don't have to worry too much about his nuke hitting my Scud Storm when it's getting constructed right now. So because I've collected all the resources at my base and my tunnel networks are getting full, I decided to put my workers inside the palace. So that will increase the value of that spot even more, meaning that the minigunner paradrops and the nuclear missiles are more likely to hit that spot. That's okay. Thing is, I want my workers to stay safe, and then I can pop them out at any point, so then I can repair whatever buildings I need to later on with General Fai's attacks. Now, I did hit the rank 3. I went for a level 1 rebel ambush, and I went for a level 2 bounty. So the thing is, General Fai has a lot of units that he sends my way, so I'm going to make very good use out of the cash bounty, And at the moment, I don't have the capture upgrade yet, so I get that now because we got a little bit of a cash injection there from those units. So now I use my Rebel Ambush, and I'm going to get these guys into position at each of the oil derricks here. So there's 3 oil derricks. They've already been captured by Fai, so I want to just get these guys into position. Now the 4th guy, I'm going to put him inside one of the buildings. I did also get the Anthrax Gamma upgrade, so my defense is even stronger now against Fai's units. So even my toxin networks alone will be able to deal with those assault troop crawlers more easily too. So the defense is holding up pretty well here. I'm just waiting on my rebels to actually get the capture upgrade fully loaded for them. So now I can actually make moves on those 3 oil derricks and actually get a lot of cash coming my way. So with the 3 oil derricks, I don't have a lot in the way of defense, so it does mean that they'll only last for so long. I thought to myself, maybe go for black market so then I can increase the funds even more, because like I said, I don't know how long I'll be able to retain those oil derricks for with just those 4 toxin rebels there as defense. Now Fai has sent a nuclear missile against me, and I decided, play it safe, we'll cancel the scaffold of the black market I was building and get our money back. So right away, I've lost 1 oil derrick. I've still got $4,300 to my name, so I could also go for Scudstorm as well instead of going for that second black market. Now with the Scudstorm here, it's going to work in the same way as the nuke, so we can't see the super weapon timers in the top right corner for this mission. You have to click on the super weapon itself to actually see the timer, or you can look at the sidebar on the right side of the screen and go off that too. So if you got multiple though, you'll have to manually check each one. So because I'd taken a beating from that nuke, I decided to pop out of the palace with my workers, build up some more black markets, repair whatever damage was done. So black markets, again, I don't know how long I'll be able to keep those oil derricks for, so I need to get more black markets so then I can build up my cash faster to get to more Scud Storms and to get to more tunnel networks if we need more rocket troops to play with. Now I did get rank 4, but I wasn't really sure what to spend the point on yet. I could have gone for level 3 bounty, or I could have gone for level 2 rebel ambush. I just wasn't quite certain what to go for. And I was thinking, well, I've got the extra black markets now, so I might not need the level 3 bounty. I was thinking maybe I could go for level 2 rebel ambush, and then that way I can use even more rebels to either attack or defend, against Fai. So I ended up going for my second Scudstorm here, and I still have the 1 toxin network to the left of that to defend. Like I was saying before, I'm using that mainly for Black Lotus, but that point of defense is a little bit on the weaker side compared to what I've got at this bridge with 3 toxin networks and 2 stinger sites. So the Scudstorm, the first Scudstorm, it's almost ready to go. And so I've got options here. I could aim it at the nuke, which would take out the nuke. I could go for the reactors, which would disable the power for a long time because he's got all of his reactors lined up. But yeah, because my defense here was very weak, they decided to use a whole bunch of assault troop crawlers and other infantry against me, which doesn't usually happen. Usually it's just the Black Lotus. So this was a situation where I felt like I had no choice but to use my rebel ambush here to help defend, and I wanted to try and keep my Scudstorm intact so then I can have that second one. But yeah, I knew it wasn't going to work out, so I stopped building it, and yeah, that was kind of a tough loss. I used my Scudstorm here because I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to keep it against this wave of units. So I aimed at the command center and the nuclear missile. I was thinking to myself, perhaps I could do a sneak attack later on, use some rocket troops to pop out and then finish off the command center and the nuke simultaneously. That was one thought, and I got rank 5. I had no choice but to use my Anthrax bomb here. So yeah, that was a very good attack for General Fai, and as you can see, I did damage to the nuke and the command center, but nuke's still ticking down, so it's still going to fire on me very soon. I think I would have been better off just either aiming it directly on the nuke or aiming for the reactors. I think either one of those spots would have been far better than what I did, because with the tunnel networks I don't have any rocket troopers left, so I can't actually pop out with anything to finish off the command center and nuke like I had planned originally. Now this is where we get into some silly stuff. I was looking at if I could use the revealed spot of the nuke to actually use my sneak attack, and here's the thing, I can't do it on the top, but I can do it on the bottom, and it's like I don't have any rocket troopers to pop out. So it's like, what's the point? I ended up popping out with 2 workers, and it's like, okay, well, there's another gat to the right of that. So yeah, very silly moves on my part here. I think what I could have done, if I was going to utilize workers, maybe I could have used a worker to build up a demo trap, you know, where the nuke and command center is. That would make sense, but what I did didn't make sense at all. So after the big attack from Fai, I pretty much went into go mode. I was like, okay, I need to build more defense at this other bridge so then this doesn't happen again, and we're going to build up our Scud Storms too, in fact. So that's the main thing, is I actually did have quite a bit of cash to play with, and I was just thinking, okay, 2 Scud Storms, they'll be able to fire pretty much at the same time here, so that should be enough to actually finish the job and beat up General Fai. Now here comes the nuke. I got so lucky here because the nuke really didn't do much damage at all, so I was able to just keep building up my Scud Storms. I did lose, you know, 1 defense down to a GLA hole, and General Fai, he's not repairing his nuke or his command center, so that's something that sometimes happens, is he will rebuild, you know, whatever buildings get destroyed, but he won't actually repair. Sometimes he will, but not all the time. So just like that, I just gotta hope that I can you know, hold out long enough so then I can use a rebel ambush. I could go sneak attack with rocket troops. I've got 4 rocket troops that I can use against him, and they're getting taken out by those tank hunters. Those tank hunters are quite buffed up for General Fai. So here comes the minigunner paradrop. Now because I haven't quite built things in the same sort of way as before, I did have to lose my black market there. I still get my Scud Storms though, so that's the main thing. Okay, so we've got 2 Scud Storms ready now, so all we got to do is wait for about 5 minutes, and then it's pretty much game over or close to it for General Fai. So in the meantime, while I wait on those Scud Storms to be ready, I ended up using my rebel ambush inside Fai's base. So I was thinking to myself, we could actually do a little bit of damage here by capturing his building, so I could capture the reactor, the nuke, maybe the command center as well, depending on how Fai responds. So he does send in some assault troop crawlers, and I do try and go for the cap on the nuke, but because that rebel is the one that's furthest to the right, I lost that rebel, and then I went into rush mode, just rushing rebels over to the assault troop crawlers, which would have been a kind of a bad idea. I think if I held my position, I think I would have done a better job. So my plan B was to use my sneak attack because that part of the map was revealed, and I was hesitating a little bit because I wanted to know where this minigunner was taking aim, whether to take aim at the units or the sneak attack itself. Now I got lucky here because the assault troop crawlers and other units were taking their sweet time getting to where my units were, so I was able to take out that nuke and retain the 4 rocket troops, and now I can just kill a bit more time at my base, building up more black markets or building up more defense to hold the line as well. So since I destroyed General Fai's nuclear missile, it is still possible for him to actually rebuild that nuke. Same goes for his command center as well, if we destroy it and he still has dozers remaining too. Now in the meantime, while I wait on the Scud Storm to get ready, I ended up using my Anthrax Bomb next, and he has a lot of defense in the middle of the map, and same goes for his defensive lines here, so I decided to play it safe with the Anthrax Bomb and go near that resource pile, like defensive line, and he still has a boatload of units here, so that Anthrax Bomb is going to do major damage to his units, and also some of his buildings too. It was mainly the units that I was going after. So when I do actually use my Scud Storms, it means that I can wipe out the buildings, and then if I want to do a rebel ambush and sneak attack combo for cleanup, I'll be able to execute those more easily without as much resistance from General Fai's units that are hanging around his defensive line and war factory too. Now I did get hit by the minigunner paradrop, and once again that's going to get squashed because I've got those toxin networks nearby. I did get attacked by this one tank hunter here, so I had to pop out with my rocket troops and then put them inside another tunnel, so no issue there. Again, just waiting on that Scud Storm. He did rebuild his nuke, so I decided to just go with a double Scud Storm on the nuke and the command center. And the thing is, he does have dozers within the radius of those Scud Storms, so it does mean that the chances of him losing both command center and all of his dozers is very likely here. So now that that's done, all I have to do is wait on the toxins and the radiation to go away. Then I can use my rebel ambush and my sneak attack to actually pop into phase base to finish him off. So whilst we wait on that to actually happen, let me just take a moment to do member shoutouts. So we have two members, Just Steady 69 and Reneva Straighten. So if you guys wish to also join up and become a member and give me member suggested challenges, feel free to join up, but I don't expect you to. If you don't want to, you don't have to, no pressure. So right now, using our Rebel Ambush to take out the last of General Fai's defense, and now all I have to do is just use our rocket troops, take out the reactors and that supply center, and that is going to be how we did Dr. Thrax versus General Fai without building any offensive units. So if you enjoyed this one, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I do have a playlist if you want to check out any of my other content. I'm Cracklo, and I shall see you in the next one. Bye.
Accept this defeat, General. My men will cover my escape, and we will fight another day.